Well, Jeff, Governor Walker says if he were to call a special election today, it wouldn't happen until after April, when the general election takes place, and after the legislature is expected to adjourn. But some critics say after the results of a special election just weeks ago in Senate District 10, where a seat left vacant by a Republican was filled with a Democrat, he's actually afraid the same thing might happen in those two districts too. Since late December, 2 seats in the legislature have remained vacant, and despite some calls for a special election to replace the seat of former Senator Frank Lassie of De Pere and former Representative Keith Ripp of Lodi, Governor Scott Walker says it makes sense to wait until the November elections instead.
If I called it today, it couldn't be till after the beginning of April, for which we'd be days away from the special election and probably a good month after the legislature adjourned. That's why we did it. It was simple.
Stevens Point Democratic Representative Katrina Shanklin argues Governor Walker is worried a special election would turn those former Republican seats blue.
So for the governor to wait almost a full year for an election to happen is essentially putting the thumb on the scale, and it shows that he's scared of what an election will do.
But some say politics aside, the governor may be violating a statute which says a vacancy in state office occurring before the second Tuesday in May during the year of a regular election must be filled as, quote, promptly as possible by special election, end quote.
The statute mentions May, and they said if the seats becomes vacant after May, he can leave them open until the next election.
Ed Miller is a political science professor at UW Stevens Point.
Well, this is before May, and it's been a while now, and so therefore he may be very clearly in violation of the statute.
Miller says it's possible Governor Walker's decision could be challenged in court, but whether or not that will happen, however, remains unclear. And that statute also states that even after the close of the last regular floor period of the legislature, if there's a special session or a veto review session or even an extraordinary floor period called by the legislature, a vacancy must be filled through special elections so a new member may participate in the sessions. Professor Miller says it's very possible for special sessions such as matters pertaining to Lincoln Hills to be called this year. Jeff?